Hello guys, welcome back to SWS Books and delighted to be joined with Jon Tretheway of TM14 Promotions, and he's got a show on Friday at York Hall, Bethnal Green on Fight Zone, I do believe. And yeah, good to get you on as always.
Always good to be on with you, Sam. I hope you're well. I know you are because we just spoke off camera. Yeah, really good show and a good card that we've assembled for Friday night. It's a double header on Fight Zone. So we start off at York Hall. I think the first fight's about 5:30 and we'll be on there for about 5 hours. Stack card, which we'll talk about in a minute. And then we go over to the Cayman Islands where there's 2 title fights on it, all on Fight Zone. So I think it's about 10 hours.
Well?
Well, we're working with Dennis Hobson on Fight Zone, so we've helped him out a little bit, but it's more him than us. But the double header together. But it's nice to have 10 hours worth of boxing between the two of us for fans, and it's free as well. You know, some people will charge pay-per-view, whatever. So someone wants to set up through the night, and there's some good English fights on that other one as well.
So we've got Arnie. We'll talk about the show. So the first. So you've got Arnie Dawson v Ricky Leach, 4 rounds in the super lightweight division.
Yeah, Arnie Dawson, he's out at the Peacock Gym, you know, so we're close with him as we always say. So it's nice to have his I say his first proper fight out. It's not his first proper fight. He had his debut. I was there a few weeks back. It was at a Frank Warren dinner show and he did really well. It was his debut, but very different from normal. The tickets, I think the tickets were about 250 quid each. It was like a posh dinner event. So he didn't have all his like mates and friends and families there. So this is his debut where he's gone and sold a load of tickets. He didn't need to sell any tickets on that. We know Arnie, we've known him for a few years. You know, he's been waiting for a while to tick over. He's got his license, good first win under his belt. Let's see what he can do at York Hall. So a great setting for him to have a fight there.
And Ricky Leach is, as we know, is always tough and game.
Yeah, he's very tough and game. You know, he's a good journeyman, Ricky Leach. So it'll be a good test for Arnie. We expect Arnie to come through that with the training that he would have had. So yeah, good fight.
And you've got Joel Bartel 3-0 Spattar, who's 4-3, who I believe you've had Spattar on before when he fought Hennessy Jr.
Well remembered, Sam. I couldn't remember that, to be fair. Your knowledge is always so good. I always say that to you. Yeah, now it rings a bell. Yeah, look, Joel Bartel, class act. We love working with him. He's out of Mark Tibbs' gym in the Origins, you know, one of the best gyms in the country. He is as hard as nails, Joel Bartel. What you see on the tin is what you get. He's proper hard. The first 2 fights, I think, were knockouts. The third one wasn't, if I got right, or was it the other way round? But he'll be looking for another knockout here. It's a step up again. It's a 6-rounder again, but a step up in class. But we expect Joel to come through. He always brings his battle cartel, as he calls it. So that gym, I think Johnny Fisher's coming down. John Edges will be there. El Brooks, his mate. You know, they've got a stacked stable there. They'll all be there cheering him on Friday night.
And is that that's 6 rounds, isn't it? Is it his first 6-rounder?
No, he fought Angelo Antonio in a 6-rounder for sure. The debut was a 4-rounder. I'm trying to think if the third one was a 6-rounder. I think he's had 2 6-rounders. He's definitely had one. But yes, it's another 6-rounder and a step up. You know, and we don't try and run before we can walk. But if he comes through this in the new year, you know, we'll be in some big fights, Joel Bartel, because there's no hanging around with this fella. You know, sometimes you look at people and you think maybe they need 6, 7 or 8 testing fights, stepping up slowly before they get there. I think this guy is a very, very good fighter. I don't like upsetting other people, but he's arguably one of the best talents I've ever had on any of my shows, right up there. And we love working with him. They're a dream to work with. He sells a bundle of tickets, so he's a promoter's dream. And we'll look forward to him putting on a devastating display on Friday night.
And would you say Southern area could be the goal for next year, or if he comes through Friday?
Well, 100%. I think by the end of next year, he'll have more than the Southern area in his bag, 100%. He'll have an English title in his bag by then. If they... Sorry. Like I said, he's in the right gym. He's got the right trainer. I'd imagine that we don't like to lose fighters, but a couple more fights and he'll be on the big boy shows, which will happily let him go there because it means that he's done well, we've done well, we've been part of his journey, and we'll enjoy watching him as he moves forward.
And then you've got the return of Frank Arnold as he takes on Christian Alvarez, 6 rounds in the super featherweight division. The return of Frank Arnold.
Yeah, it's a shame for Frank. I think he was like 9-0, was he? I think it was. And then he obviously got stopped, which no one expected, against the journeyman. And these things happen. It's boxing, right? So that's what happens in boxing. People come to fight and come to win. And he just had a bad night. I think he got caught cold. He took a bit of time away from the sport. He was then coming straight back in for us I want to say it was the back end of last year. It was either the beginning of this year, Sam, or the back end of last
I
year.
think it was this
9, 10
year,
months.
February, where he was meant to fight Jeff.
Again, you know more about my business than I do, Sam. That's how good you are. Yes, it was Jeff Ofori. I couldn't remember it was February. Well done. And there was medical problems on the fight week that just didn't get cleared by the board. That's another story. And that was disappointing because the fight didn't go ahead, as you're aware. Took a little bit of time out because I think that hurts, when you go for a training camp and you're all ready, and he fancied his chances there, as Jeff would have done as well. And that was a great fight, and it didn't go ahead. He's back in the gym, he's ready, chomping at the bit. He's straight back out in a 6-rounder. You ain't going to go back to a 4-rounder. Christian Naves is a good test. It's an international fight. We expect Frank to come through. Again, a bit like what we just said about Joel Bartel. If he comes through it, which we will do, I'm sure, then next year he'll be banging on the door for a Southern Area title, no doubt.
Is that like do you think that he could get in the mix with Caswell and Mikey Weber Kane? Because I thought they was scheduled to fight, wasn't they?
You need to go and get your matchmaker's license, Sam, because that's exactly what they'll be looking for. That fight's rescheduled. There'll be an announcement out within a week or two for when that is. Caswell against Weber Kane. And they've already got Frank Arnold. They don't want to run before they can walk. Listen, let's see how they get on against Naves. No, Naves isn't a guaranteed win, but should they come through, they will be sat there ringside in February expecting to try and get a shot at the winner of that fight.
Yeah, so and then we've got Sonny Hardy. He's 2-0 with one knockout, of course. Talk about his knockout that he had on I think it was All of the Lights show, where he got stoppage win over Jules Phillips, I believe.
Yeah, he's a class act. He's managed and trained by Kevin Mitchell. He spars every day and trains in the Matchroom gym. So when he's sparring the likes of Joe Cordina, who's one of his best mates. You can't buy that. He spars Conor Benn when, they want a little bit of a test, someone a bit bigger. As I said, you can't buy that kind of sparring. He's a class act himself. He sells an absolute bundle of tickets, and he's done so again on this one. And we're chuffed to work with him. Very similar to Joel Bartel, that, different camp, but, we'll be part of the journey for as long as it lasts, and then we'll happily watch them go and develop when the time comes. And at the moment, our job's to step him up. He's fighting another international fight, Engel Gomez. Not an easy fight, a step up in class for him. It's his first 6-rounder. He did get a knockout in the last one. He's been bloody hard to match because of the knockout, a bit like Joel Bartel. When some of these prospects get knockouts, Sam, it's quite hard because the people are, I don't know if I'm going to get, and that's just the sport. But he's matched, and we expect to see another fantastic performance by Sonny on Friday.
And he steps up to 6 rounds.
That's it. Yeah, and it's natural progression for those that aren't diehard fans who listen to your interviews and that and pick it up. You start off with your 4-rounders, then you go to 6, then you're natural towards 8, and then you've got because when you fight for a Southern Area title or even an eliminator, they're 10-round fights, yeah? So you can't just jump from a 4-rounder up. So Kevin knows exactly what he's doing there. As soon as we put him on this card, he was like, John, he's ready for a 6-rounder. Like I said, some fighters, they'll have 4, 5 4-rounders before they maybe have a 6-rounder. So they know how good he is. Again, you don't want to run before you can walk, but there's no point keep fighting 4-rounders when you need to start getting ready for 6s, because by the end of next year, Sonny Hardy will be holding a belt of some sort. I have no doubt, exactly like Joel Bartel, and this is all just part of the process.
And then you've got 6 rounds in the super middleweight division. Navid around 7-5 v Balraj Karana, who is 5 wins, 1 defeat, 1 draw.
It's a great fight, Sam, this, we like both fighters. Both of them are home fighters. Not only they're home fighters, normally they're home fighters for us. So it's kind of watching two. I've said this before. I think it was like when Alfie fought Inda. It's like having your two boys fight each other. I like it when you get these fights because it's great value for the fans. Some of these other fighters that are fighting people, when they can see that their friends and family can see that there's other 50-50 fights, it makes the show worthwhile. I really don't know who wins it. I probably would say that, Sam, because I don't want to publicly but I am sitting on the fence. Navid's more experienced, but he has got 5 defeats, but he is more experienced. Balraj, he's a tidy boxer, Balraj. He's good, and he's had 1 defeat himself. And I think that's why they've kind of thought, we'll take the fight now.
But
sometimes when you get
Bador Kamari, who you've had on your shows a few times.
And listen, that fella stops a lot of people and beats a lot of people. He doesn't read the script, shall we say, that fella. So to get beat by him is no shame at all. What I would say with Balraj is that 1 defeat that he had, he would have learnt more in that fight than the other 5 wins he had, which will put him in good stead come Friday night and flip a coin, get your popcorn, sit down, watch it because it's a good fight, that one.
And of course, Navid, even though he's had a few defeats in a row, I do believe he's coming off a win that he had on your Portsmouth show.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity for Navid. You're right. You know, he's coming off a win. So now let's go back. Where do you go after a win? You don't go backwards. There's no point keep fighting Journeyman. He lost a 50-50 against George O'Leary.
That
That
was a
wasn't
good
his
fight.
night. It was a great fight. Listen, it weren't his night that night. That doesn't mean he'd lose that every time. George would probably sit and watch this interview and go, John, what you want about? I'd beat him every time. But Navid would sit there and think he could win again. So maybe that's a fight they could rematch they could have down the line if Navid comes through. But, you know, Navid does have experience, even if it means he's lost a few. Balraj is a tidy boxer. As you say, that one fight that he lost against Karami is, I think, how I pronounce it. No shame in that whatsoever. And sometimes, I think I've said this on your shows before, Sam, there's nothing wrong with getting beat. You know, some prospects, when they're 6-0, 7-0, and 8-0, and they get beat, they then start thinking it's the end of the world and they're on the scrap heap. Not at all. Learn from what happened and you come back stronger. Our good friend Denzel, you know, he lost the other day, but he lost against Felix Cash. It wasn't a good night for him. Come back, tune-up fight, and then he went to Vegas and fought like a beast, lost on points, but come out of it with so much stock because of what he learned in that Felix Cash fight. Just like what happened with the Nathan Heaney fight, he'll be back because Denzel's too good not to. But sometimes when you lose, you learn more than 5, 6, 7, 10 fights where you win, mate. And that'll be the same for Balraj and Navid from theirs. And good luck to both fighters, and we look forward to watching a good fight there.
Do you manage both of them?
No, I don't manage either of them fighters. Navid Iran's managed by Sab and Alex Leo, and Balraj Kara is managed by Harry Holland. But we work with all the managers and the other promoters around the circuit, Sam. So our job, we manage a few fighters, but our job is to put on the best shows we can and the best platform for all these fighters, young men and young ladies, to go out there and put on a good show.
And you've got Shauna O'Keefe making her debut against Vader, who I've seen fight Natasha. She's been in there with Natasha Jonas, is the first person who comes to my head.
Yeah, so the journey lady, if you like, Vida, she is very experienced, knows her way around a ring, and very experienced, and a perfect benchmark for a debut for Shauna O'Keefe. So that's good matching by the matchmaker there, Eddie Muscat. Shauna, for those that don't know about her, she's from Ireland, so she doesn't have a British license. She's training out of the Matchroom gym. She's trained by Kevin Mitchell again and managed by him. The noise that I hear, Sam, you heard it here first. Don't be surprised if we're talking about her as a world champion in a few years. She spars Katie Taylor regularly, and my understanding is she does more than hold her own against Katie Taylor. We're excited to have her debut, you know, so let's see what she can go and do, but great to have her on.
Then you've got Nelson Heiser 13-0 Luis Garcia, who's 13-5, 6 rounds in the heavyweight division.
What do you think of that, Sam?
If I'm honest, I don't know much about either of them, if I'm completely honest. So I'm interested in this fight.
Yeah, it's good. That's why I asked you. I put you on the spot there. So Nelson Heiser, he's from Albania. He's 13-0 with 11 knockouts. He's beaten Danny Williams. Danny Williams beat Mike Tyson. Danny Williams, he admittedly beat him at the end of his career, but then Danny Williams beat Mike Tyson at the end of his career. Danny Williams fought Vitaly Klitschko. So, you know, that I know that sounds silly because they're different times, but this fella on paper is an absolute beast and an animal. He's coming over from Albania. He flies in on Wednesday. Sam, he's done between 500 and 600 tickets at York Hall. No one's ever done tickets like that. Albanian people are very loyal, their community. They come out and support. Look at Florian Marku, for example, except this time you've got someone coming over from Albania who is a heavyweight knockout artist. So on paper, he could be just sort of like the next biggest thing. Obviously, it's his opportunity to do that. We've given him the platform. They haven't come over here first fight in England and taken some like journey person or journeyman who's got a losing record. They're taking the #1 ranked South American in the world, who's from Venezuela. Nelson himself, I think he's ranked about 19 or 20 in the WBC rankings. You know, this is someone against, was it 13-5 you said, and he's had 7 knockouts himself, so he's going to get a lot of points from this if he wins on Friday night, and the guy's going to headline. You know, someone asked me about a month ago, do you want to put him on? I was like, well, yeah, look, it sounds good, it looks good, he's not in the country. we're used to working with local people, Sam, who we know and want to develop their career. But if it makes financial sense and the guy can sell a few tickets, which he can, and it improves the show, which it definitely does, it just adds on paper to another fantastic 50-50. So there you go. There's, a little bit more about it now. Let's see how good he is. Nelson, he's about 6'8" and he weighs about 17.5 stone. So very similar build to, say, Tyson Fury. He's already talked. I've just been on an interview with him with one of your rivals just now, and he's already talking about your names like David Adelaide's, Nathan Gorman's, Fabio Wardley's. He's talked to me off camera like Solly Dakker's. These are big names over here.
Mm.
Let's see how good you are. We probably won't hold on to him for too long, because if he's going to fight those fighters, that won't be on our show. But again, like everybody else, Joel Bartels that we've mentioned, Sonny Hardy's, we want to be part of the journey. So if we're sitting here, me and you talking on camera in about a year's time, and he's fighting for a top title or something like that, then we can say, well, we were part of that journey. But I'm excited by it. I'm not too sure what to expect myself. Looks good on paper, and it'll definitely be packed in there because I know what tickets they've done. So let's see what happens.
Mm-hmm. And another great fight, 8 rounds in the welterweight division. Elliot Well 7-0 Darren Tetley 22-5.
Yeah, it's a cracking fight. That it would have headlined that fight if it wasn't for Nelson because of the ticket sales, and it warrants a headline. I have to say, Elliot Well, he's a home fighter. He's our guy. We had him on his last fight, and he got a stoppage, and he hadn't fought for a while. He was with one gym, and it didn't work. He was with the iBox, and then he's moved up north, and he's training. Well, I say up north, but in Birmingham, that's north to me. He's training in Birmingham all the time, and then coming back at weekends. But great performance last time out. Needs one more good fight and an 8-rounder and a good test, and then he'll be fighting for a Southern area or something like that early next year. Maybe, yeah. And you know what? He takes Darren Tetley. Darren Tetley's 22-5. I know he's lost like 3 of his last 4, or maybe his last 3. But however, the guy's fought for a British title about 3 times. I think he's held a version of the European.
Co-main event to Tyson Fury White when he fought Echo Essuman.
I was just about to say you fought Esserman, correct? I forgot that it was on that card. Again, your knowledge, Sam, is so good, and your preparation really good. But yeah, look, that is a fantastic fight. I'm not sure I'd have took that fight if I was Elliot Well initially. They went looking for it because there's so many other fighters out there that aren't as seasoned and as good as Darren Tetley. Listen, we've been dealing with Darren Tetley in the build-up. Darren Tetley, he's coming there. This is a good opportunity for Darren Tetley. If Darren Tetley comes and upsets the apple cart. What's Elliot now? 7-0, is he? And there's a good noise about him. We expect good things. So let's see. Let's see how good Elliot Well is. I think that could be fight of the night. Well, it should be, to be fair.
Mm-hmm. And then you've got another great fight, Archie Sharp 23-0 Victor Julio, who's 16-9, 8 rounds in the super featherweight division.
Yeah, we're delighted to have Archie on. Listen, I think out of everyone we've ever had, we've never had anyone with a record quite like that, which probably tells props to Archie. It's the best fighter we've had on. Archie's probably a fight or 2 away before he fights for a world title himself. He's 23-0, I think. And he's a class act, stylish, very good operator, fought on all the big platforms. It's a delight for us to get this fight. And again, equally, this could be a headliner as well. He's fighting someone I don't know much about, but again, the foreigner's got a winning record. And we expect very, very good things there from Archie on the night, and it just adds to what is already a fantastic card. So chuffed to have him on.
Can we also talk about the show the show that's where is it? Forgot where
it's in the Cayman. It's in the Cayman Islands. So we work with Dennis Hobson. You can ask anything, by the way, Sam. We work with Dennis Hobson. He obviously owns Fight Zone and Fight Academy. He's now going to stream all our shows going forward on Fight Zone, which is a fantastic platform for all our fighters to be able to be seen and showcased to people who can't make it to the event for whatever reason. He's got a double header. We were talking with him about maybe putting some fights on there out there. As it worked out, we were like, why don't we do York Call and Cayman Island on the same night? Because I think there's a 5-hour time difference. It's not far from the Caribbean or off the coast of like Miami, Cuba way. So the 5-hour time delay, if we start ours about 5:30 and have it done by about 10:30, 11, out there it'll be 6 o'clock. Over here it'll be 11 o'clock, but they just roll straight into it. Couldn't tell you loads about the whole card because in the end Dennis has gone out there and done that. There's a good fight on there for a Commonwealth. It's a full Commonwealth, I think. Matty Windle against Craig Derbyshire. you know, that's a fight that we'll have a keen eye on because, all right, our lad didn't come up trumps last week, Jack Hughes, but Jack Hughes obviously wants to sort of like look at those kind of fights. There's a lot of them small fellas that actually we work with that will also be looking at it. Paul Roberts has just come off a win.
Jack
These kind of
Martin.
people will be keeping a close eye there. I know he's got will be keen. Jack Martin's a super welter. He's not on that
No,
card.
no,
He's on
not
the
Jack
card.
Martin. I meant
I think he's on top tier. Is he on Saturday?
he is, but I meant Martin Hillman. That's what I meant. Sorry.
No, that's okay. I'll get you now. Yeah, Mark Hillman. Yeah, that's another one. Of course, you know, he lost to Paul Roberts in a cracker. You were there, I think, at my show last time out. Right decision. I think Paul Roberts and the ref. I think the ref probably stopped it the right time. The referee's job, Sam, is to look out for fighters. He felt that that's what was happening. You know, I know the Hillman team weren't happy, but they'll be back soon as well. You know, and they'll be the kind of people that be looking at those fights. But no, it's a good show out in the Cayman. I know Dennis will be keen for me to pump. He's got Roy Jones Jr. there as part of the event. Shame he's not at your call sat with me and you because we'll get a few selfies, but it'll be nice for Dennis to have him there in the Cayman Islands.
And any shows that you've got booked like next year? Have you got any dates booked for next year?
I do, Sam. I've got 13 dates at your call next year, which is fantastic. So that's more than one a month. You can work that out. We've got none in January because it's always hard to sell tickets because everyone's hard up from Christmas. We don't do August because everyone's on holiday. Same reason. So tickets are hard. So there's a couple of months where we got two, and we start off in February. We've got February the 3rd. I haven't announced it publicly. It's the first time I've said it on your interview. February the 3rd and February the 24th. Both cards. One will be announced Saturday, Sunday. I'm going to try and announce both within the week. Both cards are great. I won't give you anything online, mate, because I haven't announced it. One of them's very good, and the other one's exceptional. Some of the best shows that we've done. Certainly the February the 24th, 4 or 5 50-50s, few title fights on there that you will be very...
Any shows at the Peacock next year?
There may be, yeah. That's a case of funding on that one. You know that we pay for fighters to fight there for free. They don't have to sell tickets. It's not quite as easy to just get them on, but the venue's there, the setup's there, the branding's there. So watch this space on that, hopefully. So, and who knows, we may go out elsewhere in the UK. We're speaking to a couple of people about doing other cities. We tend to like what we call home, which is London, and you'll call we're Southerners, and London is London, and you know we're biased, but it's the biggest city in the world, or the best city in the world, I'd certainly say. So, but you know, if Cardiff come calling, or Portsmouth come calling, or cities like that, if there's a card to be made, we'll go.
Yes. From me, thank you for your time, John, and good luck with the show on Friday.
You coming?
I should be.
Good stuff. I look forward to seeing you Friday, Sam. Always good to catch up, mate.
Thank you, John. Bye.
Bye-bye, mate. Bye-bye.